Has anyone watching ever seen a Sasquatch in real life? I mean, by now, we've all heard the legend of Bigfoot, Sasquatches, Yetis, or even their snow-loving counterpart, the abominable snowman. Is Bigfoot real or simply a myth? So this back and forth debate has been raging for decades. So if they do exist, where do these creatures originate from? And how have they remained undetected for so long? There are museums, books, a myriad of streaming service documentaries, and television series about the hunt for these creatures. There's even a 1980s film called Harry and the Hendersons about a friendly Sasquatch who comes out of the woods to interact with a family in Seattle, and, of course, hilarity ensues. So if you can see, our popular culture has been filled with references to these beings, and it's also been rumored that these Sasquatches are interdimensional and can appear and disappear at will, or even walk amongst us while undetected or cloaked in some sort of invisibility. Let me introduce the Anlkkos, a solitary yet spiritually advanced ET race that is the genetic seed to all Sasquatches on Earth. In this video, you'll see some interesting correlations between this galactic race and what has been reported about the Sasquatches on this world. This alien race who inhabits a world far from Earth is the second cousin to our mystical friend Bigfoot. Welcome to the channel. My name is Erin Lynn, and for the past several years, I have been introduced to over 100 unknown galactic races throughout my work as an Akashic record researcher and galactic channel. I will test this channel information on my Akashic record reading clients who are starseeds, meaning they've had their foundational lifetimes on these hidden realms. So not only do I research this information in the Akashic record library and through client readings, but I'm also invited to also travel to these planets to interact with these beings. So in this video, we're going to discuss a fantastical alien race that many on Earth will find intriguing. And perhaps it'll be a bit tough to kind of wrap our minds around, but fascinating nonetheless. These beings are from the Phoenix constellation, from a star with the Bayer designation of Beta Phoenicis. And the ETs from Beta Phoenicis prefer to be known on Earth by their own name for themselves, which is Anlkkol. No, I did not make an error in the spelling. This is how their name of their planet translates into our English alphabet. And to clarify, my OCD brain desperately wants me to put a vowel between the L and the first K, but this is just how it's spelled according to the Anlkkos, and they requested I not change it. So in the previous videos, I featured two other neighbors of the Anlkkos from the Phoenix constellation, the Onkins and the Gamma Phoenicians. Links to these videos will be below in the show notes. However, the Anlkkos do not really interact with the Onkins that much. They're kind of just like neighbors who are civil to each other. Now, not that the Anlkkos leave their planet much, as this race doesn't really have any UFOs of their own, although these ETs do have a friendlier relationship with their dragon neighbors, the Gamma Phoenicians. These benevolent galactic beings live a very solitary existence, but that's their choice. I only see them one at a time, and they're never really in groups. It's like this planet is just filled with a bunch of lone wolf types, just individually traveling around. And this is unusual, as most of the alien races I've met and interacted with so far are more community-based, with the beings working together to reach goals. Now, this is not to imply that the Anlkkol beings are unfriendly or frequently get into fights with each other. That's not the case. They just kind of prefer their own company, and they like to be alone in deep and quiet contemplation. While I wouldn't call them shy, they were cautious when initially making contact with me. And over the years, I found the Anlkkos to be gentle and thoughtful in our interactions. And unlike their cousins, the Sasquatches, the Anlkkos do not come to our planet and walk amongst us in our earthly forests. In their society, their mates are temporary and non-monogamous. Anlkkos are emotionally intelligent and feel a wide range of emotions deeply, but love does not mean forever in a romantic entanglement on their world. Even the offspring are raised or taught the ropes rather quickly and sent off on their own at a young age. Again, this ties into this intense solitary lifestyles they choose to live. So at times, these beings may need to work together briefly to accomplish something of importance, but they prefer to go it alone in life. Planet Beta Phoenicis is a quiet and peaceful place, and it's primarily a dense jungle environment. The jungle has trees that are so tall and create a natural canopy where I cannot even observe their sky through the leaves. Although it's not really dark at the ground level, there's still some light that filters through. When I'm asked if they ever go above the treetops, I received a no, because they feel safer under the tree canopy. It's if they prefer to stay low profile in general. There are natural clearings on their realm where there are rivers and streams that they drink from and swim in. There's also varied wildlife that lives on Beta Phoenicis. So this is a planet that is completely natural with no cities anywhere. The Anlkkol beings do not need to sleep or live in any houses because they're most comfortable and free outside in nature, and the climate is very temperate there year-round. The Anlkkos themselves are strong and athletic looking. They are anywhere from 8 feet to 10 feet or 2.5 to 3 meters tall. Their bodies are ape-like, meaning they have long, muscular arms and torsos with shorter legs. They have flexible hands like ours in structure, and they can hold onto and do swing from tree branches with ease. Their feet are just as supple as their hands because I will also see them hanging from the trees by their feet as well. Anlkkos are bipedal or can walk on all fours. They do run faster on land when they are on all fours, although they can walk easily on 2 legs. Their bodies are completely covered with a shaggy, dark auburn hair. And these beings really remind me of like a hybrid between an orangutan ape and like a Chewbacca from the Star Wars. The Anlkkos face is not as reminiscent of an orangutan. It's flatter with their black noses protruding only slightly. They have a sense of kindness and playfulness and curiosity in their deep brown eyes. All the Anlkkos that I've seen look very similar to each other from my point of view. They're not an androgynous species if they have both males and females. But don't let their animal-like appearance confuse you. These beings are both highly intelligent and spiritual. These alien beings are masters of technology in ways that we can't even begin to comprehend on Earth. So yes, they do look very similar to what we would call a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. So let's talk about that giant Wookiee in the room. You too may have also noticed the uncanny resemblance the Anlkkos have to the beloved Wookiee, Chewbacca, or Chewie for short, featured heavily in the iconic Star Wars movies. While the movie character's intimidating and brash personality has no similarities to the gentle and peace-loving Anlkkos, they also do not make that infamous wailing sound like Chewbacca does. However, the physical similarities between the two are very noticeable. This, much like the previously covered Alpha Doradians and C-3PO, is a hidden in plain sight popular culture kind of subconscious acknowledgement of their existence. So my Anlkkol contact giggles when I bring the Chewie subject up. Clearly, they aren't offended by it and find it funny that their likeness is widely known on Earth, yet they're not known, at least until now. At this point in the video, I've painted this picture of a quiet, spiritual, gentle race of monkey-like aliens who live this natural existence on their jungle world, and that they don't have spaceships that travel to other worlds. And that is all absolutely true. But the Anlkkos are also extremely technologically savvy and utilize crystal technology better probably than any other species I've encountered. So crystals are everywhere, and they do contain a certain power and a literal consciousness. So any of my crystal empaths or enthusiasts watching can agree that these rocks are simply much more than what most on Earth see them as. So the Anlkkos have really tapped into what these crystals can do. Have you ever felt that something was near to you, but you couldn't see anything? So on my first astral travel visit to their world, I found myself in a tropical forested area all alone. And no one was there to meet me, and I was just kind of looking around, and I heard a faint rustling in the dense foliage, and it was like a hard to see outline of a large moving creature in the trees, and I could kind of barely make out this being as it seemed cloaked to be invisible somehow. And once this invisible thing got close to me and was standing right next to me, it then unzipped a bodysuit of sorts. And the Anlkkol then took off this green bodysuit and immediately made it shrink this large, suit into a tiny piece of fabric in his hand. And when they wear this green suit, it makes them invisible. Really unable to believe what I just witnessed, I asked how that suit worked. And I was then shown a vision of somewhere on their planet was a large light blue rotating crystal that they can tap into at will, and that it powered that suit. And I asked if they wore these cloaking suits often, and I received the response, not really. They just wanted to show me some of their technology. And I asked if they need to hide themselves often on their planet, and their reply was, no, we're not currently under attack, but old habits die hard. Throughout our universe, Earth included, there are many crystals that are vital to the functioning of our cosmic system. With the Anlkkos being crystal experts to the extreme, as a race, they will often be given the job to be guardians of these crystals to keep them secure. So how they accomplish this is pretty mind-blowing. A very brief background before I get into it. So we are all multi-dimensional beings, and this means that there are many dimensions or facets of our being or souls that exist at any one time. Only one facet or dimension of us is walking around in this timeline, existing on this current plane of existence. So the Anlkkos, being the spiritually advanced and knowledgeable species that they are, they know this and they can tap into it. So therefore, I could meet or interact with an Anlkkol being while on beta phonesis in the jungle, but a dimension of them is simultaneously somewhere else performing their crystal guardianship duties. Therefore, they have conscious control over all, or at least several, of their dimensions or facets at one time. In addition to their expert crystal energy manipulation skills, these beings are profound manifestors. The Anlkkos can manifest whatever they desire instantly. Although their desires are not usually of the material or financial sort, as they don't use any kind of money, and they live outside off the land, so it's not in their minds to manifest luxury goods or even something that would harm another. If they focus on it, though, they will get it in record time. It's just how life is on their realm. Now, things weren't always easy for the Anlkkos. Their planet is ancient and their society is currently in the 12th dimension, and they've ascended from tremendous density and hardship on their world. This is a galactic race that began its journey, much like Earth, in the 3rd dimension. Naturally, this was a very long time ago, and we're talking 1 billion or more linear years in the past. It's taken a lot of hard work, time, and karma for the collective of Anlkkos to ascend to where they are now in their societal and spiritual development. Now, they were not nearly this magical when their planet was much denser in energy. So this is probably why this galactic race is only somewhat involved in assisting with the Earth currently. They tell me, enough is enough. So they're not really looking to relive their own past issues through the ascension pains of Earth. When a planet in the universe is in a lower dimensional stage of their development, they are easy for those with bad intentions to take advantage of. I've seen this played out time and time again on other planets in a similar situation to us on Earth. Beta phonesis was no exception. In a previous video, I discussed the Alkeans and how a certain small group in their society turned away from the light and caused all sorts of mayhem throughout the universe. Anlkkol was one of those realms who was affected by this small group of negative Alkeans. And I was shown a long time ago where many Alkeans in their Alkean bodies were running around their jungle planet and living in these golden castle-like structures. It's as if these buildings were like ancient tech yet medieval all at the same time. And they and some others with bad intentions were also there and dominating the naive Anlkkos. It caused a lot of extended trauma amongst the Anlkkol population, and they are still dealing with some of the fallout of that distant yet unpleasant past. However, the Anlkkos choose to never forget. Their jungles are riddled with the remains of these narrow, cylindrical, golden castle and pyramid-like structures. The Anlkkos never enter them, but have left them there unused to gradually disintegrate into nature. These structures serve as memorials of the past and serve as memorials to teach, to learn, to remember, and to never return. These ETs do not want to forget how difficult their past was, because if they do forget it, it could repeat in the future. It keeps them vigilant and staying in the light and not allowing another to take domination over their world ever again. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, Erin, these traumatic experiences happened 1 billion years ago. Why is it still affecting the Anlkkos? Why would they care so much? Well, trauma, whether you are a human on Earth or any other organic being on a distant planet, is much the same. Horrible experiences which damage the psyche can change our individual DNA. These genes then get intergenerationally passed along to future offspring. This is actually a huge scientific research area on Earth called epigenetics. And the mechanisms behind epigenetics affect the human DNA just as much as the Anlkkol, Alkes, or even Porrima genome. Difficult experiences, including but not limited to a lack of love and care, can dictate what genes will be expressed and which ones will stay dormant. And it's all the same regardless whether you live and what you look like. So expand these intense hardships over an entire population for several generations, and you have a massive impact that literally changes the building blocks of our bodies. So let me know in the comments if you believe that trauma can affect DNA and be passed along to future generations. Have you seen this in your own families? In a nutshell, the Anlkkos and all other life in the cosmos are like us, but just in a different package. So we truly are all connected in more ways than one. So I do hope you enjoyed this introduction to the magical Anlkkos. So please let me know in the comments if you've ever had a Sasquatch sighting. I've never seen one, but I would love to see one. And how do you feel about the Anlkkos' approach to their challenging past, kind of by choosing to memorialize it and keep relics around to remind them? So any ET groups mentioned here that I've made videos about before will be linked below in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, kindly like and subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps get the word out. Click that notification bell and watch my other videos highlighting other unknown galactic races in the universe. And should you want to have your Akashic record read by me, the link to the website is below. In the meantime, I love you all and welcome to a higher dimension.
Chewbacca, can you make your noise again?
Was it